we are going to take the time to play through one of my childhood favorites, one of the best games ever made. This iconic release from Rareware, Donkey Kong Country. This game is, of course, a Super Nintendo classic. Anybody who's ever even heard of this game just loves it, and it really has maintained its relevancy over the years. I've been playing it like regularly for years, right? There's a brief period of time where like I wasn't able to, but like, um, well, brief period, more like a decade. Like I've always loved this game. It's always been like a really big deal in my life. So, this is the 30th anniversary stream. I knew it was coming, and hang on, yeah, we're gonna lead to. Yeah, I think we started playing it like a while back and never actually finished it. Yeah, I've been playing it so much lately that I actually like scaled back because I just been playing it so much. Like I started speedrunning it and stuff like that. It's just like I beat it in under an hour, so I was just like, okay, let's take a break and actually enjoy the game properly. I kind of have to like slow down now and just kind of enjoy the visuals and stuff like that. Look at these backgrounds. Rambi. Yeah, we saw Rambi at the in the Nintendo Direct. He was in the park. Like Miyamoto demonstrated how it works with like when you play the drums with the other guys and he comes out. I thought that was so cool. I really want to go. I hope that's in the US one because I don't know when I'll be able to take a trip to Japan. Um like the US location is perfectly viable for me. It's just a matter of like I don't know. I have so many other things to spend money on, right? Like just this weekend alone, I was thinking about like getting my brakes looked at, and I was gonna get my sink fixed. Like there's so much going on right now. Getting a new dishwasher soon. It's like I don't know, like I have so much like essential stuff to replace all the time. Like I really don't see myself like taking a vacation like ever the way things are now. Like how can I justify it? Like I have like so many books to write and so much going on. Like it sounds so much fun to go, but I just can't justify it. And yeah, it sucks considering I'm such a fan, but yeah, when does DKC open? Is it open now? Shit. What the hell was that? Yeah, when is like the Donkey Kong Country portion open? I think it is available now if I remember correctly, but do 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 bum 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 ba bum. PlayStation going fully third party. They basically already are, even though like nobody wants to admit it. Like Horizon is on Switch. The game bombed on all platforms, but they've released a PlayStation IP on Switch. They're done. And they have been for a long time, but um, man, I love this game. Man, it's been a while since I played this, so playing it again, just love this music, love this atmosphere, love these vibes. I've actually been listening a lot to a lot of DKC tracks on Nintendo Switch Online, specifically like aquatic ambience and stuff like that on Nintendo Online via Nintendo Music app, I should say. I've been listening to a lot of these tracks, and they're just all so good. This really is one of the all-time great like game OSTs, I think. Like this is like the video game soundtrack for me. I like a lot of other soundtracks, but I don't think a lot of them have like as much variety. Like Super Mario Bros. Is a good example. Like everyone knows like the overworld theme and the underground theme. The castle theme and the underwater theme are kind of forgotten in comparison. Not that they're bad or anything. I really like them, but they're not like iconic. Like this game's tracks are. I don't know. It's just there's just so much good stuff out there. It's really hard to call stuff like the best thing ever, you know, like you used to, right? Like back in the day, like it was easy to just say like, oh yeah, look at these graphics, it's the best looking game ever. But listen to that music, it's the best ever. But now you just have so much competition. I I was really struggling with this with like Mario and Luigi Brothership. Cause like I was seriously wondering, like, is this like the best Mario and Luigi game? Like starting off, right? Like I'm playing Mario and Luigi Brothership, and I'm just kind of like, let's see, Cobra Kai. Oh, I love Cobra. I loved the first three seasons of Cobra Kai. Well, the first two seasons. The first, okay. I love Cobra Kai so much that my novel Playing Dirty, which is planned to release in December, December 18th. That novel was inspired by Cobra Kai. So yeah, I'm a big fan of the series. I really do need to finish it. I still have not watched all of it. It's so good. I'm a big fan. Like honestly, like I've been thinking lately that if Cobra Kai had stuck with like the level of quality from season one, like all throughout, it really would be like the best show of all time. Like it's way better than that Game of Thrones shit. It's way better than like Star Trek slop. It's way better than like Buffy the Waifu Slayer. Like Cobra Kai is just so like it's just so good, yeah. Season six. Oh wow, it came out? Oh yeah. I'm gonna have to get Netflix and watch that, yeah. Like I got the DVDs because like I'm unwilling to pay for Netflix. So like I don't know. Yeah, I had no idea. It'd come out. Yeah, I hadn't heard. The season it's over? Oh wow, really? Is the show over now? Is this the finale? Yeah, I'm way behind. Like I hated season three. So like I was not willing to like start with like season four because like they immediately retconned the whole shit with like, well, I mean I probably shouldn't spoil it since I think we have someone in the chat who hasn't watched it. Like they retconned the whole bit with like I don't know. I just could not stand that. Yeah, like I don't know. Season three was a mess in general. Like there's so many things wrong with it. Like I was seriously wondering if like it was gonna fall off after that. So I don't know. I took a break from it. I was getting way too obsessed with it too. So five and six. Okay. Yeah, five and six. Part three of season six. Really? Okay. Why are they splitting like all these seasons off? Okay, yeah, I'll have to watch it then. I'll have to get caught up. Man, I love Cobra Kai. It's like the only like thing from like modern Hollywood. Like it's the only good reboot series I think I've ever seen from like the Western world. You know, I have not seen anything like that good like ever. And it really makes you think that like people keep talking about like woke shit and how it's ruining everything. There's plenty of good shit that still gets made, you know? Like even in like mainstream circles. You know, it's not just like people like me just like, "Oh man, like I'm anti-woke." Like no, you have good like mainstream stuff. Plenty of good books, plenty of good games. It's like plenty of good shows, you know. They retconned Miyagi? Wait, what? How'd they retcon it? Well, I haven't watched the movies in forever. Yeah, that's another thing about Cobra Kai that I really needed to do. I needed to go back and actually watch the original films because I never actually have. Yeah, it's been like a decade since I've seen any of them, I would say. And then I've never seen like three at all. Because like three's the bad one, so I didn't bother. But apparently, like, yeah, the thing about Cobra Kai is that like this is one of the big reasons it's like such a great reboot. Like it really takes what happens in three and makes it like important. Like it's crazy that they like how much effort they went into to doing that. Even like in the early seasons, like even before they introduced like reintroduced Terry.
Terry Silvers. Yeah, they do so much like legit character building with that. It's crazy. With a film that isn't good too. That's really good writing for sure. John is based, yeah. Daniel's kind of. I don't know. Um, hmm. I think they definitely walk back a little bit on like how base Johnny is. That's one of my issues with like season three is that like I don't know like I could totally see them like scaling back a lot of the shit he says and does. But yeah, like season one Johnny is like unbelievably based. Oh, what am I doing? Wait, hang on. Where were we playing that? What the fuck? We are not skipping the best level in the game. Okay, this isn't the best level, but yeah, I'm sorry. I guess we have to demonstrate the shortcut. Like, I guess I feel obligated to because it's such an iconic thing. Like, I remember like doing that as a kid over and over again and just being amazed by it. The story of the fourth movie. Well, like nobody. Okay, so like they retcon the fourth movie. Well, nobody likes the fourth movie. Like, I don't know, man. Unless you wanted to like bang the girl in it, I don't think anybody really cared. I don't know. What could you have even done with the fourth one? It just I don't know. It's so far removed from what Karate Kid is. Like Daniel's not it. It's like what's even the point? I don't know. People kept like joking about it that they would make it relevant somehow, but I don't think it has. Well, I mean, I probably shouldn't. I haven't seen it yet. I haven't seen the newer seasons yet. But yeah, I'm gonna have to get. Man, I'm so behind on shit I want to watch. Like I was just thinking like today that I really want to watch like Dragon Quest and fuck and like Gundam and like there's just so much to watch. And I'm so busy with working on my stuff that like it's really hard to justify it. You know what I mean? Like yeah, I love Cobra Kai, but like I'm doing my own thing. Ash versus Evil Dead. Isn't that woke? I heard that like the newer Evil Dead stuff was had gone woke or something. I don't know, man. I'm very cautious when it comes to like watching shit like that. It's just like I said, like Cobra Kai feels like an anomaly to me because it's legitimately good in spite of everything that's going on culturally. Yeah, it's the most based show on television, from my understanding, and it's the executive producer is Will Smith of all people. Will Smith, who got made to look like a bitch at the Oscars, like, huh? Like, how does that work? How much control does he have over it? Like, I don't. That just doesn't make any sense to me. Like, I legit thought when I first saw that, like, it had to be some other guy named Will Smith, but no, it's him. So I'm just kind of like, wait, what? I know he made that shitty like Kung Fu Kid reboot with like his son that everybody hated. I hated that fucking movie. Like when he did that stupid like spin kick at the end, I just drove me nuts. Wait, Daniel died in the fourth? The daughter? Wait. That was his daughter? What? Wait, what? So they retcon that? Well, of course they did. That's stupid. Yeah, I did not know that. Okay. Yeah, I saw the nostalgia critic review of it, and like an idiot, like he doesn't bring that up. That should be a pretty important thing to bring up that you killed off, and I kind of get. Well, assuming that's true, I feel like it is fake. I don't. Yeah, that's man. I can't like rant about Cobra Kai without spoiling it. Well, I mean spoiling it. Yeah. I'll spoil a show that I'm only like 3 seasons deep on, but like, yeah. There's just I don't know. Like one of the characters, the way they handled one, did not care for it at all. Black Friday deals. Okay, I'll have to look. And I saw that like Ace Combat 7 was on sale again. I don't know what I'll be able to buy. I think I am just gonna like not buy anything for a while yet. I'm like way behind on like yeah, I'm just buying like other things right now. More important things. Like I said, like I have a car to fix. I have like a dishwasher to replace. I have like a credit card to pay off again. Sync needs to be fixed. Like I have so many like number one priorities. I don't think I really need like new games. Like I'm legit thinking that like I might go through all of December without buying anything, which is I think is going to be the first month I've like bought nothing in like forever. Like I can't think of like the last time I've done that. Oh, okay. Yeah, the new one. Okay. Yeah, okay. So Ash versus Evil Dead. Yeah. Okay. I don't know. Like I would like to watch this stuff. It's just an issue of just like what my schedule is like and the things I'm subscribed to and like just the my behavior in general. Like right now, like this keeps happening to me. Like I get fixated on a movie. It's an autistic thing. Like I get into a movie and I just watch it like over and over again, and I don't really watch anything else. Like right now, it's with like Hercules. A while back, it was like Big Trouble in Little China. Uh, what else have I done that with? Princess Bride. I used to do that a lot. It's like yeah, I tend to like prefer doing it that way. Evil Dead. Yeah, I did it with like 1 and 2. I don't like 3 as much. I don't know, man. Like I cannot stand how like Evil Dead 3. The entire trilogy should have taken place in the cabin. I don't know why they did it differently. Okay, this is one level we are gonna skip because I fucking hate Stop and Go Station. This shit is like garbage. I don't remember if this is like my least favorite stage in the game. Uh, I made a top 10 levels list. I can't remember what I hated that level growing up. I should we talk about the game? Like we're doing a DKC stream to celebrate the 30th anniversary, and we're talking about Cobra Kai instead. I feel terrible. Yeah, and I'm definitely gonna have to get back into like Karate Kid. Never watched any of them. The girl from the second one was always the best. Uh, yeah, I believe I really liked her when I watched it. It's been so long I can't remember. I'm so far removed from like uh I don't know, being a kid. I can't remember what it's like, what it was like watching that. I'm pretty sure that made me into like Asian women. I don't know. That feels right, but I can't say for sure. It's not like I had like a fixation on her or anything. I just watched and I was just like, oh, this chick is way better than the last one. It's kind of like my mindset. Oops. Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. The new Donkey Kong. Yeah, I do think we are gonna see a new DKC soon. I said this last Nintendo Direct. I predicted. People forget this. I actually predicted that Mario and Luigi would get released last Nintendo Direct. I did call that. So like, yeah, I'm saying it now. Yeah, I think Donkey Kong Country is gonna be next. So that's gonna be really like I don't know. Like it's really weird seeing like Nintendo discussion online right now because like it seems like Pretendo culture is like starting to become a thing again. I saw like the BitBlock like release a statement about how sales for everything are going down, which is obviously retarded, but it's the BitBlock. Like these people are releasing statements about how like Mario and Luigi Brothership is bombing when like we're in the middle of the holiday season and probably the target audience isn't gonna get it until Christmas. So like I People don't understand. Like these Nintendo games are gonna sell forever. You know, like it's you're not gonna be able to judge their sales based on like day one. Like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Like look at 60 million units sold right on Switch. That wasn't even originally released as a Switch game. So like, yeah, we really need to stop talking about like day one sales, especially when like Brothership has had such like good word of mouth. You know, I'm getting ready to do my review. Uh, Best Mario RPG ever. I think it's safe to say at this stage. I'm on like the final dungeon now. Um, Best Mario RPG ever made by far. And honestly, like I would go so far as to say it's the best RPG of the generation in general. Um, like I don't think anything else comes even close, in my opinion. This game is a classic. But no, you're seeing like everybody else is doing this weird thing. Like no, the game is slow, it's boring, like oh, like and like people are proving that like the people who are coping and seething didn't actually play it. You know, like maybe they bought the game to like stream it and like call it trash. Like typically what I see happen is that like people like Demish will like buy the game and call it too slow or something. And like everything they say just gets like debunked. Like I think the slow pace thing is the thing that's really going to kill them long term because the game keeps delivering on like new and interesting elements up until like the very end. It's crazy how much content is in the game, and all of it is good. Mario and Luigi is getting crapped on. It's because of the Paper Mario fans. They they don't want Mario and Luigi to be successful because they think it's going to stop like Paper Mario 3 from being made. So they'll do everything in their power. Like this isn't the first time they've done this either. Like they went after Paper Jam too, and I wonder if they went after Dream Team. I don't remember, but I do seem to remember that there was like the game did really well, but nobody really wanted to like talk about it. And I wonder if that was because of like the paper fags just causing problems for everyone. Like this isn't a thing that happened overnight. They've been doing this for a long time. Like they attack Color Splash and Origami King to a certain extent. But I don't know. Like I feel like this is going to be like the instance where people finally start calling them out on their nonsense because like Brothership really is like this goated like Mario RPG, like this really great game, period, and yet they're trying to like downplay it, and it's really transparent what they're trying to do, and I think a lot of people don't really respect it. Yeah, I'll be going in hard on them going forward. I honestly think this is like the biggest steal like this year when it comes to the Nintendo community. Is just like the paper fags and just how much they propped up like the Thousand Year Door over the far superior Super Mario RPG remake and Brothership. Like the Thousand Year Door was terrible, and yet like these people like don't really want to admit it. I forgot. It's not even the remake's fault. Like the game itself, it just is wasn't that good to begin with. But I'm gonna need the Arlo review. Good luck for that. Like it's been almost 2 weeks, and he hasn't. I don't even think he's even played the game. Like I don't understand this about Arlo. Like he's legit become like video games awesome or like those. How are you a Nintendo YouTuber and you're not there day one to cover like big new Nintendo games? Like how exactly is this possible? Right? Like how exactly do you have like the resources to get games early to so you can make your review and then like not even give a first impressions video 2 weeks after launch because it has been like 2 weeks now. Well, it'll be 2 weeks tomorrow, but no. The game's launched on Tuesday, on Thursdays now. Yeah, so it has been 2 weeks. It's been 2 weeks, and Arlo has not played like Brothership. The fucker has 2 weeks, and he's trying to tell people he's been sick, but like I don't believe that shit either because like he wasn't doing Echoes of Wisdom, right? Like I don't think he's even put out like an Echoes of Wisdom review. No, he did. No. He was talking about the lore because he's a lore fag. He was talking about like the stupid like the null thing. and like the evil triumph. Like that's the shit that interests Arlo is like autistic lore. But yeah, he never produced an actual like review of it. Like it's just like, what is he doing? I don't know. I'm gonna be very interested in seeing if like the people start like pushing back against paper fags because in my opinion they've gotten off they've been way out of hand for a long time. Like I legit think that like even back when Sticker Star came out, like what they were doing was like unwarranted. Like I think you could there's a Game Grumps video, like JonTron is talking about it. It's like the Donkey Kong Country Returns Part 1. And like he's talking about it and he's like baffled about how negative people are about like Sticker Star because that thing was like that was an issue like right from the get-go like in regards to that game was just everybody spurting out about it for not being like a clone of the Thousand Year Door. I don't know. I've known a lot of people who like really like Sticker Star, so it's weird to me to like to see like how many YouTubers and like the community just religiously just try and like keep up this farce that like Paper Mario is like mistreated or something. When like Origami King is like the best-selling game in the series now. Um, Color Splash was better, but Origami King did sell more. Like it's just like, come on. Yeah, Mario. Yeah, I think back in the day it was like Mario Bros. 3 fans. So I think the people like going after Wonder are like NES boomers who like put Mario 3 on a pedestal. So I think it's the same kind of person, but just a different generation, right? Like my childhood was better than yours. Like it's so pathetic and just abominable, I think. Like they're not like judging the game based on its own merits. Like they're not being objective. They're just seething that like it's not the exact same thing as when they grew up. Like it's always like whenever you see like Mike Matei do this, like Sean Nasham does this too. Like they always do this thing where like, oh, this was way cool, this was badass when I was a kid. They do this thing where they like try and hype up like fighting Bowser's army at the end, like oh, it was so badass, like you were fighting an actual fucking war. It's like have you played Wonder at all? Like it's like Wonder does like the same kind of thing. It's like they always do this goofy shit where they're just like, oh, singing piranha plants. Oh, I can't take this seriously. I'm a mature adult. Like, oh, come on. Like it's just really ridiculous. I don't know. Like I hope we get to the point where we start like condemning this kind of behavior because it's not. I people traditionally just chalk this up as to being like someone's opinion when that's not really true. Xenoblade X is my favorite mech game. How could I stop Sony? The Switch 2, coming out late March? No, definitely not. No, it's not. It's not gonna come out in March. It's if it's coming out in 2025, and that's a big if. If it's coming out in 2025, it is going to be like a holiday release. I don't think they're gonna do a repeat of the Switch thing. I think they're gonna have like one last strong year for the Switch, and then like at the end of the year they'll like have a strong launch lineup for the Switch 2. Like they'll transition seamlessly into it. And like I don't think like the Switch 2 is going to be like that big of a game changer because I keep seeing people say this like, "Oh, it needs to be radically different. It needs to be super powerful." No, like I think legit all they would need to do is just make the same thing but like make it more ergonomic. How do you say that? Like make it more portable and just add some more like bells and whistles, right? Like Miiverse integration, a better eShop, like stuff like that. Like deal with like minor complaints people have been having. Because like they really don't need to release a new console. That's kind of my thing is people are in this mindset that like sales are going down, that third parties are abandoning them, but like the third parties aren't going to be there like no matter what. It doesn't have anything to do with the hardware, you know. Um, so I think rushing out like a new console is not a good idea. Like I think like yeah, like there's that like MMO thing they're putting out, like the new IP that is supposed to be a secret. Why are they putting out a new MMO now, like right before a new console? Like to me, I think it's gonna be a Game Boy Color thing where it's like the same general thing, but it has like some new gimmicks to it. Yeah, I've speedrun this game so many times. I'm kind of doing it in my sleep now. Like I get it. It kind of sucks like playing this game so much because like you get to the point where you just kind of breeze through it. I don't know. Like SNES was kind of talking about this like in regards to like Snow Barrel Blast in particular. Like we've played this game so much, it's not really challenging anymore. Like, and this is objectively not really an easy game. Oops. Yeah, see, I just died there. Uh, this is not really that easy of a game. But like because I've played it so much, I just have no real problems with it whatsoever. Like same with DKC2. Like especially DKC2. Like I still remember what it was like 100%ing that for the first time. Like I really struggled with it. And these days because I know what I'm doing, like it goes by like it's a lot easier than it used to be. Like I breezed through it last time I played it. Odyssey 2. Yeah, 3D Mario, I think, is going to be really interesting because we are due for another one. That's going to be another game we're going to see. Call of Duty, yeah. I don't know. I think that like once they consistently start getting like Call of Duty and Grand Theft Auto on Nintendo consoles, it's over. Like there's just nothing that like the establishment can do to stop it. Um, like even if it's like a year late, I think like you won't have like kids like harass well kids like kids won't harass each other over like well it doesn't have GTA because that's what I was told like whenever I would talk about GameCube well it doesn't have GTA well fuck you like I could get GTA if I wanted but I don't because it's not very good. I don't know but yeah like just having GTA on the platform is gonna like just eliminate the a lot of the narratives against the console. Like you still see people like try and say that like Nintendo like censors their games or that they don't want like adult content on their platform. It's just what are you talking about? Like you're retarded. Yeah, I saw a lot of people like be nostalgic for this level on a SNES drunk video a while back. They were all talking about the lack of checkpoints. Like, yeah, this is like this has to be like the most nostalgic level in the game for a lot of people. It definitely is for me. I remember like it wasn't the first time I played. Like this is the level that sticks out to me the most. Like looking back on it, man, was this my favorite level? I'm really gonna have to check my lists. You know, maybe after the stream we can like go back and watch those lists and see. I'm really curious now. Like, I think that's gonna be a good way to cap off the stream. Like, is watch those videos. Yeah, we'll bring them up. Leisure Suit Larry is on Switch, really? Well, I mean, who the fuck cares about Leisure Suit Larry? I was confused, like when I saw the game, like growing up. I'm just like, wait, what do you actually do in the game? Like, I think all you do is like fuck chicks, and I'm just like, wait, what? I don't really know. Like he's like some dorky looking dude. I was always confused about the character design. Is he supposed to like resemble the target audience? Like I don't know. I can't imagine like ever playing a game like that. It's just weird to me. Like it always has been. I don't know. I used to feel that way about Dead or Alive too, but that was back when like I thought like it was entirely about the sex appeal. Like magazines like really hated Dead or Alive back in the day. Like if you liked Dead or Alive, you were a Coomer. Um, so yeah, that wasn't really fair, but game journals were always corrupt, by the way. Remember when they tried to tell you that like Kulex from Super Mario RPG was a Final Fantasy character, which isn't actually true. Um, the hell did that spawn out of nowhere? I I don't think I've ever seen that before. Why did that? Oh fuck! This game is awfully generous with it. This is brutal. Like, oh shit, really? A lonely geek trying to get women? Okay, so it was like, I don't know, like, yeah, that's the thing I don't like about incels. Like, they don't try. They always do this thing where they pretend that I was thinking about this today. They always do this thing where they pretend that like talking to a woman is gonna get you arrested. And that's just so completely like out of touch with reality. I have no idea where they came up with it. Like, nobody fucking cares. It's like they want you to talk to them. It's like yeah, the idea that you have to be like 6'7" and like a millionaire to pull chicks is just retarded. Like it really is, and I can't like stress that enough. Like people just have this really weird idea of like this really weird expectation of what women's expectations are, and it's just not true at all. Uh, Nintendo doesn't want mature games. The funny thing about Emio is that like Emio is everything it was marketed as. Like it was dark, it was like it was horrific, it had all this shit. But like suddenly, oh, it doesn't matter because oh, it's an adventure game. Like it's definitely like the most retarded thing to happen this year is just how people treated Emio. I was just disgusted by it. Especially since a lot of these people are like the kind of people who always want Nintendo to like tackle more make more mature storylines and bring back old IPs. Like Emio was both, and yet they bitched about it because like it wasn't what they thought it was, which coincidentally like Nintendo's Silent Hill. That's always how they described it. Nintendo was Silent Hill. I want Silent Hill, but developed by Nintendo. Like there was no like creativity to it. There was no like thought put into the idea or like tempered expectations, right? Like no, it's a horror game, bro. It's gonna be just like the most critically acclaimed horror game of all time. Like no, shut up. I love Demio by the way. So if you haven't played it, go play it. But yeah, that was like embarrassing. Like I have no respect for like anybody who like seriously pulled that shit. So like yeah, people like Doc Dre, people like RGT85. I don't know if Arlo did it or not. I think he did, but he might have been more low key about it. Sometimes they I remember when I was Howard. Holy shit. Like sometimes they're a little bit cagey about it. Like you don't really see like paper fags come out and like say they are paper fags. They try to do this thing where they're just like, oh, like Mario and Luigi is disappointing after playing the Thousand Year Door remake. Oh, like I saw that retard like Christopher Dring, like Nintendo should stick with the remakes. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like you're saying that Nintendo shouldn't release new games? Like what? I don't. That was just like pure insanity to me. And like Christopher Dring has no credibility whatsoever anyway. Like it really bothered me like how many people like seriously tried to like prop him up as a credible source in this matter. Like Mario and Luigi Brothership bombed in the UK. It's the UK. Like everything good bombs there. Nobody there plays good games. All they care about is fucking FIFA. Like the UK is a joke. Like I don't want to hear people talk about like sales in the UK ever. Okay. Like honestly, well, like in general, I don't want to hear people talk about sales in general because like they give a really weird like like Astrobot's a really good example. Like we were told that this thing was like the highest selling like 3D platformer in like years, right? But when you look at the numbers, like it trails well behind like Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. It trails well behind Mario Odyssey, Kirby and the Forgotten Land. Like there's so many other better 3D platformers that have come out that were just conveniently ignored to hype up Astrobot. And these aren't like obscure games either. They're like really big heavy hitters. So like they get so it's really interesting. Like, this is my advice in regards to like sales fags on Twitter. I'm talking like people like Christopher Dring and Benji Sales and like that Zoogie X guys. Like, I don't want to hear what they have to say ever. Like, because they're just propagandists. Their purpose is to make it seem as if like Nintendo is falling off and that Sony reigns supreme. Remember when like Zoogie X tried releasing that statement about how like um the PSN store like makes more money than all of Nintendo, which is like obviously retarded. Like he did something like uh I think he compared like Nintendo's net gain, like net profit with like PSN's like how much money like went through PSN without like accounting for like payouts to other companies. So like if you buy something on PSN, like it doesn't go to Sony, it goes to like all the companies that own the software. So like so Sony doesn't just keep all of that money. Like it's just like it's just sleazy shit like that that you hear over and over and over again. And like they always want to like downplay all these major Nintendo success stories, right? Like they this year they really want you to like think that like oh they have no heavy hitters this year, nothing has come out. Like oh, where are the games? And yet like last year, like when they put out like Tears of the Kingdom and Mario Wonder, both of which were like huge deals and will go on to sell like tens of millions of copies. Yeah, those were like downplayed by the establishment, right? Especially Mario Wonder, but Tears of the Kingdom as well. Like they did everything in their power to like prop up like Baldur's Gate 3 over it. And now like the most recent figures, the estimate that people have for Baldur's Gate 3, this is just an estimate because they still have not released real sales numbers. People are putting it at like 10 million units sold. Like 10 mil. Like Mario Wonder outsold that in a couple of days. And that doesn't shock me at all. But like the narrative was that like Baldur's Gate 3 was like one of the best selling games ever made. So like when you look at like the reality of the situation versus like what was supposed to happen, like you see like a radically different picture. So like again, like they don't account for the fact that people keep buying Nintendo games decades after they come out. People keep buying Super Mario Bros. They keep buying Ocarina of Time. They keep buying like all of this stuff. It's not like yeah, this is one of my most hated levels. It's just so boring. Like look at this. Like oh, it's dark. What do you do? Like just gee, like what are you gonna do in this game where you just go to the right? It's such a terrible idea. Yeah, Squawks is a way better buddy in two. Yeah, he gains a lot of weight, and I guess he lifts weights or something. Like he's a lot bigger in two for some reason. And like there's different versions of him. I don't know how that works. Yeah, one of the things the tropical freeze devs were talking about when it came out was that like if they make a Returns 3, they would want to focus more on animal buddies, and I do think that's like an interesting thing to say, considering I love the Returns games. They're really good, but like they really did not have that many animal buddies. They had Rambi and that's it, and that's just kind of weird. Like even in the Super Nintendo games, you had like lots of options, like entire levels designed around these things, and yet they couldn't like put on guard in Tropical Freeze. It's just weird to me. But yeah, that'll definitely be something to see if they make a new one. I think they're gonna have to, considering like Donkey Kong was in the movie. I mean, like right now, I think they're focusing on Peach because like, and I guess that does make sense because Peach is like kind of the weak link in the brand right now because like so many people hate her for no reason, and it's just that needs to stop. So yeah, I can see why they're like Peach has such a strong focus in Brothership and Showtime and stuff like that. But like, yeah, DK needs like some new games too. Like I don't. I mean, they put out Mario versus DK, which is probably like which was probably a good move considering the Mario movie. But yeah, I honestly I would have considered making a new one or like remaking 95 4 or something. I don't know why they remade Mario versus DK and not 94. Like to me that just seems like a no-brainer. 94 is like a really iconic Game Boy game for like fans of classic Donkey Kong, and yeah, it just hasn't been re-released on Switch yet. I own it on Game Boy on 3DS, but I never actually finished it. So I that's one of those games I've been really eagerly waiting for, and it just hasn't come yet. But yeah, a new one would be excellent for sure. I don't know. I think Mario vs. DK. It was actually one of the weaker Switch releases this year. I just don't enjoy the game at all. I like 94 though for sure. Like I'm a big fan of like the arcade games. So Banjo. I mean, I don't think Banjo's ever coming back. It's been too long. Like they had like a golden opportunity to like bring it back with like the Smash Bros. Revival, and they just didn't do it. Like they did nothing with the IP. What a complete failure. Like like I don't understand how Rareware and like Microsoft is so mismanaged. Like, oh, our guys don't want to do it. Like, get a team together and do it. Like at this point, like there are people who grew up playing those games who would like want to work on them. So it's like it's just such a non like it's just such a cope, right? Like they should never have stopped after two games. Like imagine if we stopped getting new Mario games after like two. It's just that's just weird to me. Like they demonstrated that like Banjo Kazooie had a lot of room for growth in with two, and they just never followed up on it. They put out some bullshit nuts and bolts. Yeah, yeah. Tears of the Kingdom is a better nuts and bolts game than like actual nuts and bolts because like Tears of the Kingdom features like the same kind of mechanics, but they incorporate them into the style of gameplay we loved in Breath of the Wild, right? So it doesn't really get in the way of like the gameplay. Like with the cars, you're just like in in Nuts and Bolts, you're just kind of like, why am I doing this? But in Tears of the Kingdom, it all feels like really natural and feels like blends into the adventure like seamlessly. Like that's what they should have done. If they wanted like a vehicle building thing, okay, fine, but build it like around a platformer. Like that's all they had to do. But yeah, they just failed to do it. They made a generic like racing game and like are to this day salty that like nobody likes it. Yeah, I'm sure like I'm sure the people at Rare are like constantly seething about like Tears of the Kingdom being more popular than Nuts and Bolts. And it is more popular. There's no disputing that. Um, like in general, like Rare's at the point now where people just there's no hope for recovery and nobody really cares about them. So like the people who are still there are just coping and seething like eternally. Like we used to be big in the '90s. They're like the BoJack Horseman of video games. Like back in the '90s, I was somebody. Like just man, trust the plan. Phil Spencer will figure it out. Yeah, he's gonna shut down Rare like everyone else, like just like he did with Tango Gameworks. I'm shocked it hasn't happened yet. Like I don't know what like Rare has on them that's like made them immune to the layoffs, but I don't know. Like no, we can't do that. They own the Donkey Kong IP. Okay. Like I don't know. It's just like Microsoft just can't do shit. Like Sony can't do shit either. Like Sony's doing the same thing now because they bought Bungie, which was retarded, and now they're gonna buy FromSlot. They're legit gonna straight up buy Elden Ring after it won all those Game of the Year awards and like ruin it for everyone. Like I really don't think they're gonna recover from doing that. Like FromSoft will be the next Rare. I mean, the thing about Rare is they were actually good. Like they were putting out like all these games and all these different genres. Like FromSlop makes the same game over and over again. You know, they're like, what'd be a better comparison? I don't know, man. Yeah, I would not put them on Rare's level. Like, no way. Like, no fucking way. This game by itself is worth more than like FromSlop's entire back catalog. Like, this level is worth more than like everything in Dark Souls. Like, the final boss in this game is uh is way better than Gwyn. He's a more interesting character. He's more iconic. He's memorable. Who do you know who even like remembers the final boss from like two or three? Like I don't even know who they are. Like they're just things that exist, I guess. Oh yeah, and there's a hope right now that like like when Sony buys FromSlop, they're gonna produce Bloodborne 2 and they're gonna produce Peak. No, they're not. Like it's not gonna happen. They're gonna milk the Elden Ring IP dry specifically because that's the one everyone knows, right? Like they're gonna fuck with Elden Ring. They're gonna like make Michaela more explicitly gay. Um they're gonna fire George R. R. Martin and they'll replace him with their writer Neil Druckmann and he'll like just come up with something ridiculous. Michaela was actually trans the entire time, and then he starts like making out with Bridget, and then he somehow gets him pregnant, and then like somehow they're producing a Guilty Gear anime. Like, did you hear that? Like, I heard that today, which is really interesting because I am 100% convinced the entire thing is gonna be about Bridget, which is gonna be like really amazing to see, considering like what's been happening with Strive right now. Um, is that why they're putting out the Switch version now that they're producing the anime? That's really interesting. I was wondering why they were producing the Switch version after like pretending they couldn't do it. So is it just to promote their shitty anime that's gonna try to retcon Bridget into being a real girl? Yeah, I don't care about Danganronpa. I want that series to die. You know, like I hate Danganronpa with a burning passion. But like, yeah, Acquire would be a huge loss. I didn't realize that I didn't realize that they were involved with so many things I really enjoy. But yeah, Octopath Traveler was my favorite RPG on Switch until Brothership came out. So I yeah, I guess they're one of my favorite developers now. So like yeah, if they get owned, like if they get bought out, that's gonna be a travesty, I think. Uh, yeah, it's gonna be a huge loss for Nintendo. I mean, I could see like Nintendo like FromSlop wants like Sony wants FromSlop specifically, right? Because FromSlop refused to sell out, so they're just gonna buy the parent company and then just like fuck them that way. But uh, I think in theory, like they wouldn't give a shit about Acquired, right? Because like, oh, now who wants these like old 8-bit RPGs? Oh, uh, I um I think Acquire, like, considering what they've done, like on Switch, I think Nintendo should buy them. I would want Nintendo to like save them from Katakawa being retarded. Uh, and this is a bad business move, by the way. This isn't a good thing for Katakawa, but like I mean anything that's bad for FromSlop is good in my book. But like um yeah, I don't. But worst case scenario, I think all the talent will leave and they'll just form another studio. And like, I think that's like the issue behind like the thing about like Nintendo's like design philosophy. Like their dev teams are so small that they can do that, and they can just it'll be really easy to like reassemble the team under a different name. So like they already did it once when like Alpha Dream went under. So I don't really think it'll be that big of a problem if like Acquire is just unavailable. Like I really don't. I think the positives outweigh the negatives in this situation. I think I'm sick of hearing about Elden Ring. I'm sick about hearing about FromSlop. I'm sick of like Jeff Keighley like trying to give the same game two Game of the Year awards. Like I'm sick of just like everything we've been seeing over the past decade. Like FromSlop needs to go, and he needs to go like yesterday. So I'll be glad when we finally start seeing like um people start like acknowledging that these games aren't good and start being more critical towards them. I think overall this is a good thing, but Nintendo will poach all the talent from Acquire. Yeah, I think that's the most likely scenario. They'll just like poach everyone. Everyone knows it's a bad idea. Yeah, like this isn't gonna save them, right? Like Sony saw like what a big deal Elden Ring was. They saw it was popular online, and they were just like, "Oh, I want that." So like they just like just try to weasel their way in. Hey, we can buy you, and like FromSoft was just like, no. So they just bought the parent company. Like you don't say no to Sony. They're gonna make you an offer you can't refuse. So like this is why Sony is like just completely suck shit, by the way. Like this is how they've always conducted business. Like it's not a new thing. You know, like they've always just like bullied the entire gaming industry into doing what they want. So people only care now because like it's impacting FromSlop. But like, when it was happening to like Final Fantasy or like Metal Gear, like nobody gave a shit. So hopefully like this will lead to like people being start like addressing the problems with Sony's business model going forward, which have been happening for a long time. People have been like realizing that like Naughty Dog is a load of shit, like Neil Druckmann sucks, like Jim Ryan, like plenty of people like are beginning to acknowledge the reality that PlayStation is a toxic company, but um, it's not like super mainstream yet. So I do think like this might be the situation that pushes that over the edge. This might be where we finally hear about like we might finally start seeing like people make fun of PlayStation like in the mainstream, which is something that's never happened to any ever. Like they'll make fun of Nintendo all day, but they'll never like go after Daddy Sony. So Itsuno leaves Capcom, Sony buys FromSlop. Who will the Harman curse hit next? Right now, I don't know. Nick Rekieta is gonna get fucked. We all know that. That's not even like a Harmon curse thing. That's just basic facts. Like he got his kids back apparently. But I don't know. Who knows how long that's gonna last? Uh, yeah, I was complaining about like Paru Inagaki on my way home. Like I was thinking about that, about how she made that manga about a 32-year-old woman wrote a manga about a 32-year-old woman like cheating on her husband. And if I was married to her, I would like divorce her immediately because that has to be the biggest red flag in existence. She is writing a fucking comic about cheating on you. Like that's just insane to me that she tried to do that. Like, oh man, she strikes me as such a toxic person. She really does. Like, I don't think I've ever like come away like thinking so negatively of like a creator after consuming his or her own work. It's like, wow. Like the more I see from her and her behavior, the more I'm convinced she's like the most psycho bitch like imaginable. I don't know, man. I don't know what like the stereotype of like being like of female mangakas are. Like, are they all fucking insane? Like, I say the same thing about like Fujimoto. Well, Fujimoto's a guy, but like, um, Fujimoto is like fucking insane. I have like no respect for him as a person at all. And like, I don't know. Miura has like this stupid like lolicon thing and like the Idol Master. Fucking Tagashi like lust after idols. Like the only reason we're getting like Hunter x Hunter chapters right now is because like some idol he likes is a fan. Is what I've been told. So yeah, fuck Tagashi. What a fuck. I don't know, man. I don't like idol culture as a concept. So it's weird to me to see like actual people like enable it. Bonk. Wait a minute. Holy shit. Are we at the end of the game? Oh wow. Yeah, I wasn't even trying to like beat it that quickly, but oh no no no. Ship Caverns. Okay, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I wasn't trying to beat it that quickly. Okay, yeah. I'm just like, yeah, there's one more fight. Okay. Yeah, it's not a long world, but I'm just like, are we at there already? No. Capcom refuses to stay with Sony. I think a lot of these companies are beginning to have like bad like interaction with Sony now, because like they're demanding too much. Like I would argue like a big reason why Namco is like struggling right now is because like they kept refusing to support Nintendo during like the Switch's heyday, and so it's resulted in this situation where um like they just don't have the draw anymore. Like nobody is going to like get a PlayStation for Tekken 8. You know what I mean? Like they'll just wait for it to come to Nintendo consoles, which is what I'm gonna do. Like I have no interest in like buying like a PlayStation console for like Yakuza or Tekken or Street Fighter or any of that. Like I'll just wait for it to get ported. I don't care how long it takes. It's I'll wait it out. So like if it's good. If it's not good, like why would I even bother? So like I think more and more people are like doing that now, and these companies are panicking because like they've been so reliant on like people blindly just buying new PlayStation games for years. And now that they're like people are like starting to uh now that people are starting to have started to notice the patterns about how the games are getting worse and stuff like that. Oh wow! Oh wow, the level just ends when you fail to do that? Wow, I don't think I've seen that in a long time. Okay. The Yakuza? Yeah, I'm not a Yakuza fan. I think they're super played out and boring and repetitive. Yeah, I think we're gonna go to bed after watching the YouTube videos. I think I'm gonna go to bed a little bit earlier tonight and then get up and probably go out for a bit before playing Brothership. So we'll play like Brothership tonight. I'm not gonna do it this stream. Yeah, I'm surprised they gave a game over condition for that. I thought you would just have to kill yourself if that happened, but no. I mean, I guess you are stuck and you can't proceed, but ah shit. How many levels are in this world? Like like five? There aren't that many. Chimp Caverns feels like such a step down from like the last two worlds. It's really weird. Like it's like a bunch of filler levels to just pad out the game. I mean, the game is phenomenal, but like I don't know, playing it as much as you do, you really do like notice stuff like this about how it's like there's nothing here that you haven't seen before, and I don't know. Like I'm glad they produced DKC 2 and 3 because um I think if they just left it on this one, like this game might have gotten a reputation for just being like I think it did, like for a while there. It might have gotten a reputation for just being like a graphics thing. That it's not like people might have thought that it wasn't like a legit good platformer in its own right. So DKC2 really like delivered a lot on like making this series just really well regarded in general. And of course 3 is good for what it is. And I've traditionally been really harsh towards 3, but like playing it again, like there are lots of things to like about it. I mean, it's certainly not all bad. It's just not one of the greats. I think is the way like I would describe like talking about the game. It's just not like on the level of other 2D platformers, but like it's definitely good for what it is. I mean, there's definitely worse on Super Nintendo. Oh yeah, it was snowing when I got home too. I think the roads were a little bit icy. I slid a little bit when I tried pulling into my street, so I had to like go past it because I slid past the turn that I was gonna take. So yeah, either that or my brakes are shit, which I don't know. I'm not sure which yet. I had like another issue with my brakes. Like I had to slam on them because like a couple of deer tried crossing the road in front of me. Like two of them at once, and like I was very fortunate one of them stopped because I really thought I was gonna hit one. But yeah, I managed to narrowly avoid them both. Well, I managed to. I think it's more accurate to say they avoided me. I don't know, man. Do you think that like deer are gonna get so good at like spotting cars that they're gonna actually evolve to be like better at getting out of the way? Because I don't know, because I felt like this one like moved the way exactly the way it needed to get out of the way. Like it looked at where I was going and then it just stayed put. Like even if it had run in front of me, I would have hit it, but it just didn't. Um, so like yeah, I don't know. Like maybe they'll learn. I don't know. I've never hit a deer before, but I'm very thankful this was not my first thought. I don't know. Do you have to report it when you do that? Like I don't know. Like I feel like you should considering the size, but Yeah, so they had this weird obsession with making these stages where the lights come on and off, and I could not stand them. All of them are bad. I uh I think this might be the best one. I'll have to check my top 10 list. Man, a cold like snowy day playing DKC. The day today, this is the life for sure. Yeah, last time, well, yeah, I think like, yeah, I'm playing this a little bit slower than I did like last time. And I'm not really speed running it, but like I have beaten the game in like 59 minutes. I have done it before. Fuck. I mean, it's not like super hard to do, I would say. Like a little bit of practice and I had it, but that's always been a goal of mine. So, well, always, but um, I realized that I kept like consistently getting like an hour and 28 minutes. So, I improved it and managed to get it under an hour. So that's always cool to see. Like I was thinking lately that like I haven't been playing a lot of Super Nintendo games, so I think like maybe we'll play some Yoshi's Island at some point this weekend, and uh I don't know, maybe something else, some more obscure stuff maybe. I definitely want to finish like Super Mario Advance 2 on because like there's so much to do in that game. Super Mario Advance 2 is the Game Boy Advance version of Mario World, of course. So he jumped. So yeah, I'll probably be playing that. Yeah, I don't, I think I'm playing, I want to play Yoshi's Island, but like, I don't know if I want to keep playing the really trashy Game Boy Advance version or the Super Nintendo version. I think I do prefer the Super Nintendo version over the Game Boy Advance version. I don't think the Game Boy Advance version adds anything. The visual effects are worse. Like the new levels aren't interesting. There's no achievements. Like I don't really think I found anything I like about Advance 3. I think it's the only Advance game I don't really like, to be honest with you. And it's like my favorite game of all time. So, Advance 2, I've really come around on like this playthrough as just being this like really, really underrated port of the game. And like I've always loved 4, and Super Mario Advance, of course, is like my preferred version of Mario 2. But yeah, 3 is just not that good. Like it's portable Yoshi's Island, but other than that, I just don't think there's anything that special about it. Okay, back to work. Oh, whoops, that's candy. Oops. 1 hour? Yeah, a little bit under 1 hour. Okay. Fuck. Damn.
An emulated version? You mean a pirated version? I guess I better report you to the Nintendo Ninjas. They're coming for you. Actually, they are. They are. It'll be really interesting seeing Nintendo go after these like phone emulators because they 100% need to get fucked. It is going to happen at some point, but it's just a matter of like when and how. I don't. You're already basically stuck playing like Game Boy Advance era stuff because anything more complicated than that just doesn't work with the control scheme. But I never got over how this is the final level. Like this is what they came up with. This is how they ended the game. It's a bunch of moving platforms. Like I don't know. Like DKC2 has the Squawks race. Like the Squawk race is weird, but at least it's like it makes I don't know, it's a little bit different, you know? Like this is just like what the fuck am I watching? Like I mean technically the Squawks race is just a breather level in between boss fights. Like the real final level is like that castle climb thing, which is like really good. So it's like it actually feels like an appropriate level design choice. Like the fact that you're going upward in so many of those stages, it's really good. Like it really does feel like you're climbing the castle. You know, playing this game like after finishing like the entire Sonic the Hedgehog quadrilogy, you know, like Sonic 1, 2, 3, and CD. Yeah, this is better than like all of those combined, like for sure. Like fuck like Sonic versus Mario. He couldn't even handle like DK. The ninjas have been on an absolute roll. I know, right? Yeah, they've been crazy. Like I can't wait to see what they have like in store for Power World. Because I think people are really underestimating how badly Power World's gonna get fucked in court. Because like I think Nintendo's in a position where they can like amend the damages they ask for. Well, first of all, like they are gonna get their injunction. Like Power World is not gonna be Pocket Pair is not gonna be able to continue selling Power World because of what they did, and that's gonna tank the company overnight. But like, I think what's gonna be more damaging to this is that this is gonna set precedent in the sense where like people are not going to be able to just plagiarize Nintendo's brand like they used to. And they've been doing this for a while, especially like smaller developers. So if they can get to the point where they can like actively go after people for like ripping off like their shit, it's going to be like a huge deal. I love that we can see DK Island in the background. It's so that's such a cool image. I've always loved the island. Sony gets From Slop. We get Pal Slop. We still Pal World has not released on Switch for some reason. I don't know what they're thinking, but like probably to avoid like people getting confused by the similarities to Pokemon. Because like if that becomes like an actual thing, like on the same platform, like there would be more grounds to like sue them, but they're trying to avoid that, I think. It has nothing to do with the power. Anybody who thinks that like the Switch can't run Power World is like delusional. That's just completely wrong. I never beat this as a kid. Like I never got past this phase. Like I got rused by this ending. He got up and kicked my ass, and I was so frustrated I didn't actually beat it. Oh shit! Oops. Yeah, I forgot how his jumping pattern worked. Okay. And like the last phase isn't even that hard. I think the cannonballs are the worst part.
Like I don't know, like it's like it with everything else. Like I've played this game so much that like I know everything about it, and it's just such a breeze to get through. Like what? That was what, like an hour and 10 minutes playthrough. Like I've known people who like have played this game after years of not playing it and really struggle with that fight. It's not easy, but like you just kind of get to that point where like you just kind of breeze through it. Yeah, we're gonna watch the Kremlings and like celebrate all these wonderful men who produced this game. All of the he hims. Is Miyamoto in the credits? I actually don't know. I think Chris Stamper is. I think there is a guy named Harman S working on it, which just kind of baffles me. Nothing has changed for 30 years. No matter how many times I play, the result will be the same. Okay, is that a Hollow Knight shirt? Yes, it is. Really gorgeous. Like people compliment me on this all the time. I love the aesthetic of Hollow Knight. Let's see, can you see it? I have like a Hornet one as well, but no, I don't hate Hollow Knight. What makes you think that? I really like Hollow Knight. Like I consider Hollow Knight to be like the last really good indie game that's come out. Like I have not played anything since that's anywhere near the level of quality. It really raised the level of bar. It really raised the bar for indie games, and that's kind of my issue with it. Is that like a lot of people were like seriously thinking this was like some replacement for Metroid or Zelda, and that's just obviously not the case. But like as an indie game, yeah, it is really successful and good. Didn't I say it was well? It is. Like there's no denying it, but it's so subtle and like out of the way that most people don't see it, and as a result, it's not very effective propaganda. It's like with the Ghost of Tsushima thing, where they have like the shit with like the lady cheating on her husband with her maid, right? Like it's woke as fuck, but like it's so far into the game that like nobody's ever gonna fucking see it. So it's like it's just uh yeah. Now I think like Silk Song specifically has a very high percentage of being more woke. Like I seriously do expect we'll see like uh more of this gay shit shoved into there. So I believe I'm the only person who's like actively saying that right now. Let it be known that I called it. Silk Song is never coming out. Yeah, that is a good point. That is a good point. Like the game isn't woke if it doesn't actually come out. Like yeah, it's crazy how outdated the game looks today. Like I used to think this game was gorgeous, even up till like the 2000s. So it's definitely like kind of telling like where we're at now, where the graphics have improved so much, where like even this doesn't really look impressive. Like I remember I used to think this game looked better than N64 games because of just how like realistic the animations were and just how much effort they put into it. Um, like I had so much respect for it, and I won't get black belt. Oh, I took less than an hour. Come on, I just took barely over an hour. Man, I love like yeah, Chris Sunderland, yep, yep, B Gun, M Wilson, C Stamper, yep, C Tilston. They don't even do the full names. Yeah, O Norton, M McLean. How many of these people are dead now? It has been 30 years. M Stevenson, A Smith. Is it A? I thought it was an H Smith. Wait, did I misremember it? Yeah, Harman Jr. Okay. So there's a Smith and there's a Harman, but they're not together. Okay. I guess I'm a fucking idiot.
Harman must be like a common last name in the UK because I've seen it come up a couple of times. Yeah, C Stamper, L Stamper, Peacocks, Jay Wachowski, yeah, Yamauchi, Arikawa, yeah, A Harman, Caleb. Yep, Donkey Kong creator, Shigeru Miyamoto. Yep. Okay, so he is credited. Okay. Yeah, Tim Staver. Yep. Rare. So how many people worked on this? Like 30 or 40, something like that. Our morning stream is going to become more frequent. I think so. I have been working less. So like I was like I did kind of I have been really enjoying doing morning streams. I have been. I don't know, like it's not like I was doing anything else in the mornings anyway. I was typically just chilling out anyway, so it might be a good idea for me. Yeah, 1 hour, 8 minutes. See, look at this, like 56, same percentage, but I did it under. I thought I did it 58, but no, it was 56. So look at this, like 56 minutes. Wow, that's crazy. Okay. So I think we're gonna close out the stream by watching my top 10 best and worst DKC levels videos. Let's see, let's pull this up. All right, better close my uh where the hell is it? Harman Smith top 10 Donkey Kong Country. Top 10 Donkey Kong Country levels and top 10 worst Donkey Kong Country levels. Why is the worst list like so much more popular? I don't know what I did differently, but it has like several hundred more views. I made this like years
Donkey
ago,
Kong.
I think we're gonna start with the worst one and then go to the best. But
let's see from Harman Smith.
Remember how
Okay, let's bring this up.
there is no denying it. Donkey Kong Country is one of the best platforming games ever made, with some of the best levels in all of gaming. But what about the worst? These are the top 10 worst levels in Donkey Kong Country. Most of Donkey Kong Country's underwater levels offer a breath of fresh air from the rest of the game, with the relaxing atmosphere, the great music, and the slightly different gameplay. However, Clam City is one of the levels that just does not work very well. The level's gimmick of having clams that fire pearls at you gets old really quickly. At this stage, there's really nothing here that you haven't seen before. There's lots of fish, lots of empty space to run around in, and getting to the level is just tedious and boring. Forest Frenzy, the forest world is one of the greatest worlds in the entire game and one of the best ever. But all in all, this is a rather weak level in that stellar lineup. The minecart level in World 2 is one of the iconic levels of the game. The minecart stage, minecart madness in comparison, is a complete blasphemy. Everything you enjoyed about minecart carnage, minecart madness just ruins the entire thing. Remember the very complex, very elaborate track you were meant to you navigated in the first one? This one, you have a couple of inclines, you have the ability to jump from cart to cart, and that's about it. There is absolutely nothing of value in this course. There is nothing notable about it other than the fact it's the lesser of two minecart stages in the game, when the other one is one of the best stages, period. It's so frustrating. every time you play the game and having to experience experience this again, because it's shorter than the first one, it's easier than the first one, it's less memorable than the first one, and it's just comes near the end of the game. What were they thinking with this? This never ever made any sense to me. I despise this level. There are a handful of these stages in this game where the lights just go off, and it was very conspicuous to me that I considered all three of them for this list, and two of them actually did make it on. And this is the mid one. This is the one that's not the worst of the bunch, but like it's still noticeably not very fun and worth talking about because it is an example of a gimmick stage that just does not work. All you're doing is going forward, jumping on enemies, and occasionally hitting a switch to turn the lights on. It doesn't feel like you're in danger. It doesn't feel like there's a reason to keep the lights on. It feels like a very lazy, half-assed, just gimmick to pad out the game for just a little bit longer. Again, there are probably worse levels in this game, but playing the game again, this one I really singled this one out as just being boring and just not all that engaging to play. It really was a weak, very poorly thought out level. Donkey Kong Country's strength as a platformer comes from the ability to run and jump. You usually are in constant motion, and when you are, the game feels great. The game is not, however, designed around the concept of just standing still and letting a platform carry you to where you're supposed to go. And that, I think, is the big failing of Trick Track Trek, is just the very concept goes against what makes the game fun. You are taking away one of the core aspects of the game, which is moving, in favor of standing on a platform. It is incredibly boring. It's tedious. There's nothing interesting about this level. There's nothing memorable about it. It's just a very poor concept that does not pay off in any way, shape, or form. Now, here's one I don't think anyone saw coming. Winky's Walkway is one of the worst levels in the game for one very specific reason. One that I think a lot of people have never really thought about or really given any kind of thought to. It's really short. I think this has to be by far the shortest level in any Donkey Kong Country game ever, because I was taken aback by this. As a kid, every time I played the level, I was so excited to get to Minecart Carnage. I never really even thought about it, that this level is incredibly short. How short is it, do you ask? So short that I didn't even have enough time to bitch about how short it was when I was playing footage. I had to replay it. There is nothing interesting about this level. The only notable thing about it is that it's the introduction of the frog Winky, who, by the way, is one of the worst animal partners in the series, with absolutely no special abilities, no real powers. Like all he or she does is jump slightly higher than Diddy and DK. Okay, that's it. And and what's more, if you get hit and lose one.
Okay, I see. Okay. I wasn't talking a lot, so it's not a big deal, but yeah, when I switched the thing, yeah, okay.
One of your partners in this level, for some bizarre reason, if you're riding on Winky, you cannot destroy the barrel. That's right, because the barrel is on the ground, because of the way Winky works, you're gonna have to get off the frog in order to throw the barrel. And it's just such a weird oversight. One that I think not a lot of people have really noticed or talked about, because again...
Oh, was it just my microphone, or was it the... No, it should be fine.
It says it's fine, but
The level is so short and so easy, it's incredibly, incredibly unnoteworthy and not even worth mentioning, even for an enthusiast like myself. Oh, yes, one last thing. The level is 37 seconds long. 37 seconds long.
Wow.
Remember how in the last world you fought a boss where it just spat out a bunch of enemies at you and you just kind of had to beat it up? Yeah, let's have an entire level based around that concept. Oh yeah, let's have smaller ones that fire out snakes, beavers, and claptraps. I'm sorry, slippas, not snakes. I'm trying to get the enemy names down. It is just a bizarre decision to have a level like this, like after the gauntlet fight, because like, it feels like we've been there, done that already in a boss stage. I've never actually experienced something like this where I just feel like, okay, we're just going through a cave that we've gone through dozens of times already before, and there's nothing interesting or noteworthy about it except for the fact there's a lot of enemies everywhere. In a game where enemies aren't really that dangerous, these aren't even like the more dangerous, intimidating enemies for the most part. You just have like a bunch of basic bitch enemies just kind of like jumping out of these barrels, and like because of the way the game moves, because of the way your character behaves, like they're not really a threat to you at all. Like look just how often I just coast over them. They're not a threat to me at all. The gimmick just does not work here, and again, it's kind of disappointing that such a late game level just has nothing interesting going for it. But it has to be said, Misty Mine is just not all that interesting of a level. Let's take everything I hated about Trick Track Trek and throw Biden's fuel economy into it. Like, this is...
Wow. That is a joke that's aged well. That is a joke.
is the exact same thing as Trick Track Trek, only your fuel mileage is shit. So you have to like grab these giant tanks of barrels to keep yourself going. And it is just as boring with an added gimmick of having to, of the game rusing you. Because of the way the track works, you're never actually going to run out of gas, ever. Unless you just end up missing a canister, you're not going to die or anything. Like, they're set up in a way where they're very easily obtainable to get. They're not all that difficult. And really, it's just an unnecessary addition to a concept that already wasn't very interesting to begin with. I just find myself just baffled that this level exists. It is unbelievably boring and just has absolutely nothing of value going for it. Guess what, guys? It's Winky's Walkaway, but with an even worse animal buddy. So bad, in fact, a lot of people don't even consider Squawks an animal buddy because he's just following you around with a light. And because of the way he works, he's never, ever going to stop shining the light unless you turn around and kind of screw yourself over, which there's no reason for you to do. This level has a poor gimmick. It's short as hell. It's not all that challenging. There's nothing interesting about it. It is just unbelievably lame how they put this one together. And yes, it is slightly longer than Winky's Walkway at 53 seconds, but that is really not saying much. Anyone who has been watching my channel for any length of time saw this one coming. In fact, I specifically said when I released my retrospective that I would be putting this at #1. And after a lot of thought and a lot of consideration, I decided that I really couldn't do that. As much as I don't like Poison Pond as a level, it really is a preferential thing. It's lengthy. It has a lot of challenge to it. There are objectively good aspects to Poison Pond. However, I just don't like it. Like, obstacles come at you from off the screen. It's too long in some ways. Like, at this point, you just kind of want the game to be over. Like, the best parts of the game are already over. And this is really the only level that I even remotely struggle with in this day and age. And that's really because it's so long and there are so many instances of just things off-screening you to death. it just comes off as very, very slow, very, very tedious, and just not all that interesting to play. Like most of the underwater levels excel, even Clam City, by being like nice, relaxing experiences that are like a break from the typical platforming level. But this one tries to be legitimately challenging, and as a result of that, it just kind of takes away what made these levels appealing to begin with. I feel very strongly about this level. I really do not enjoy it. I never look forward to playing it, and it's just one of those things that I personally have quite a bit of disdain for. Despite my feelings, however, there is one that is objectively a lot worse.
Oh no. I think I know what it is. I think I know what it is. I think I know what it is. It's Stop and Go Station, isn't it? It has to be Stop and Go Station. It has to be.
Hang on, what am I? I was wondering why the video was so long. Yeah, I guess I'm just demonstrating the gameplay. Now, why did I not cut that out? That's weird. It's 100% Stop and Go Station. Like, what are your bets at Stop and Go Station? It has to be. There's no fucking way it's not. I love this music. It's so good. I know we just played the game, but it's just like, damn, this music really is. I get more and more of an appreciation for this theme as I get older. Yep, I knew it! It's Stop and Go Station!
I have always hated Stop and Go Station. As a kid, I found myself intimidated by these giant guys and wish there was a way to skip the level. Guess what? There is. I don't know why the developers decided to do this, but there actually is a shortcut at the beginning of the level where you just go backwards and you just find yourself at the end. And as a kid, every single time I would play this stage, I would do that. Because even when I did play this stage, I did not have a good time. It's just one of the most boring, most poorly designed stages I've ever seen in my life. Full of just like these nonsensical enemies that never appear again, with like this switch gimmick to shut them off, which doesn't even make a lot of sense when you think about it. That aren't even really that dangerous, honestly, considering you can just rush through them and get to the next switch. It is just, I hate it as a kid because it was scary as fuck, and as an adult, I hate it because it's annoying and doesn't really suit the rest of the game at all. It just, like, look here, I didn't even bother hitting this final switch. I just decided to bum rush it because there's really nothing they can do to stop me. Unbelievable. Worst level ever.
Yeah, fuck Stop and Go Station. Fuck that bullshit. Okay, let's see. Yep, there's wait, why is it not scrolling? The chat's not scrolling to the bottom for some reason. Hang on, let me refresh it. Okay.
Kong Country is one of my favorite games ever. Not only is it one of the best games on Super Nintendo, I often think of it as one of the best games ever made, period. This is a game that offers a wide range of great platforming segments, memorable moments, and iconic characters. Donkey Kong Country is partially responsible for the death of the Sega Genesis and Sega's eventual departure from the console industry. It is a title that defined the Super Nintendo with its new cutting-edge visuals, 3D models, and just stellar gameplay. This is a positively glorious game that needs to be talked about more, not less. And to do that, I thought I would take the time to put together a list of my my personal top 10 favorite levels from the original Donkey Kong Country. Not the sequels, not 64, not Returns, simply from the iconic, memorable, timeless original. And in doing so, I ended up playing through the entire game again, from start to finish, after having 100%ed it for the first time a couple of weeks back. That's how good this game is. Every single level, basically every single level, I was having a blast from start to finish. There was no tedious moments, there were no slow-paced moments. Like, this game is endlessly replayable, and I think that's a big reason as to why it's so great. But today, I wanted to focus on the standouts. I wanted to focus on the things that stick out more than everything else. This is the top 10 level.
Yeah, when was yeah, 4 years ago. Wow. Yeah, this was like 2 couches ago. You can see.
Levels in Donkey Kong Country. Number 10, Jungle Hijinks. Jungle Hijinks is the very first level in Donkey Kong Country, and for the longest time, I overlooked it. I was looking at a lot of the later levels and considering them, and kind of forgot just how important and special this level was when I was first learning how to play the game, because when I was not quite as skilled at video games, I remember coming back here incessantly, going through the tree chops, uncovering every secret over and over and over again in order to rack up extra lives and play the game better. And in doing so, you sort of become attuned. You sort of begin to learn just the finer points of what makes Donkey Kong Country what it is, like the benefits of playing as Donkey or playing as Diddy, the physics, the ability, how far you can jump, the rolling jump. Like, you learn a bunch of meta skills, right, that aren't necessarily obvious to layman players purely by playing through this level. And I think that's kind of what makes it special. I think that's kind of what makes it stick out, is that this is the level where players learn to play Donkey Kong Country. You get exposed to animal buddies for the first time. You uncover secrets, probably by accident. You can explore your treehouse. Like, there's so much here that I think keep the game relevant and talked about even today. Like, there's so much here that even a new first-time player, a kid who's never played this game before, can pick it up, play it, and enjoy it, because the game mechanics are so much fun that they're fun to learn even in this first almost tutorial stage. And that's how I look at this game. That's how I look at this level. It's a very straightforward, very simple tutorial stage, and that in and of itself is rather special and well worthy of our attention and praise. Number 9, Treetop Town. Treetop Town takes place in World 3, the Forest, which, in composing my list, I quickly realized is overall my favorite in the entire game. There are stellar levels, or above average levels, throughout the entire world. Lots of great, interesting mechanics and features, and Treetop Town is of the lower end of excellent, I should say. I suppose that's why it's number 9. There are plenty of things that I really enjoy about this level. I love the secrets, I love the enemy placements, I love the design of the area, I love the music, and I love the barrel cannons. I think they're a fantastic addition, but this is all stuff that I think other levels do better. I think the thing that makes Treetop Town stick out to me is primarily just how much it kind of throws at you. There are like all these little things you can do. You can skip little segments. There are lots of secrets, really well hidden secrets. Like, Treetop Town, I think, it's an above average level that makes the cut because of how well it executes itself, how well it comes together and creates something truly special. Number 8, Elevator Antics. Wow, this was one that I was not expecting to get on this list. I have long been a person who has suggested that the first half of Donkey Kong Country is far far stronger than the second half. I'm a big fan of everything up until the end of World 4, the Ice World. And I feel like the game takes a sharp decline in quality. But as a result of this, I wasn't expecting any of the second half levels of Chimp Caverns or Creme Croc Industries to make it onto the list. But as it so happens, there have been a couple of entries, and the one that surprised me the most was Elevator Antics, a level that I think back on and realize that this is the level that I couldn't beat as a kid. This is about as far as I could manage when I was very, very young. And I can kind of see why. This is, late in the game, right before a checkpoint, I think. There are lots of obstacles, bees everywhere. You have to jump in between these moving elevators. There's this very big gap at the end. It's sort of a gimmick level. The elevator concept is nothing that's really it's not great exactly, but it's used so effectively here. It's used so well in conjunction with established enemies and established obstacles you've seen already that it feels rather like a breath of fresh air rather than something that's just getting in the way. The way that like Poison Pond has like the mincers or other levels sort of rehash old concepts. Like it feels like it's a better example of what the second half of the game should have been. Like a simple expansion of what the game had already done earlier with its obstacles, with its ideas, with its concepts, and with its platforming. I was surprised with how much fun I had playing through this level the first time, and surprised with how readily I decided to throw it on the list. Number 7, Reptile Rumble. This is another level that I kind of underestimated how much I enjoy it because it's kind of basic, it's kind of simplistic, it's the third level in the entire game. It's just you going down this long, elaborate cave with a bunch of reptiles, snakes, and alligators trying to get you. And it's very standard Donkey Kong Country. It's very basic. There have been levels that have expanded on this concept in the past several times over, right? You have the Returns games. You have several.
That's not like Reptile Rumble, really? This is like the only entry on the list where I'm just kind of like, really? This is what I picked? Really?
Great sequels to this, right? What makes this special? Well, to me, this is the first example where the game really starts to begin to ramp up. This is the one where it feels like there's a little bit more going on here than just typical standard platforming fare. You know what I mean? Like it feels like this is taking everything you learned in the first two levels and sort of ramping them up.
I don't know. I think 2 is really good too. Like I don't know. I think I would honestly prefer 2 over this. I feel like that's a way more iconic level than this. I don't know. Maybe I'm just being particular, but
like it's throwing more enemies at you. It has more secrets. It has more platforming segments. It has more moving obstacles. It has more things that can get you. Like there's Reptile Rumble, because of the way it's designed. It allows you to incorporate your platforming skills that you've established in the first two and sort of you learn to incorporate enemies into them. Like you learn how to bounce off enemies and sort of use their momentum to reach higher areas. You have like interesting secrets. Like the game, the level feels a lot different than the first two. And I think that leads very much to its benefit. Number 6, Barrel Cannon Canyon. Wow, this is the big one. This is the level that really made me realize that I really, really wanted to talk about Donkey Kong Country's best levels, because I think this is the level that really establishes Donkey Kong Country as its own unique brand. This is the level that introduces the iconic barrel cannons, the objects that you can enter and fire yourself out of like a cannon, which leads to interesting segments in platforming and in the general level. Like this is the object, I feel like.
yeah, barrel cannons are like the absolute shit. Like it's great to see they become such a mainstay. Like Donkey Kong Country would not be the same without them.
That really establishes Donkey Kong Country as its own iconic platforming franchise. Separate from Mario, separate from the rest of the Nintendo IPs, this is it. This is why Donkey Kong Country is so fun. I explicitly remember falling in love with this game purely on the basis that I was of learning how to like navigate these intricate mazes, like getting the timing exactly right to fire yourself through a cannon to the next cannon and to the next across these vast chasms, something that you would never have been able to manage without them. And it's entertaining, it's timeless, it's fun, and the only reason it's not higher on the list is that as an adult it feels kind of basic, but it feels kind of simplistic compared to the countless other barrel cannon canyons we've had over the years. The vast array of all these crazy barrel cannon levels in all these other Donkey Kong Country games. You know, like Tropical Freeze has several. I know Donkey Kong Country 2 even has the sticker brush stages, which I think are really make an already great idea even more extravagant and appealing. It's one of those situations in which a great idea has kind of been overshadowed by what came after. But let us not forget just how much fun Barrel Cannon Canyon was the first time we ever played it. Snow Barrel Blast is Barrel Cannon Canyon, but harder and with more obstacles, but in snow. That in and of itself would make it really high on my list. But I think the thing that really made this honestly my favorite level for a really long time, because this was my favorite level as a kid, the crazy visual effects and the gorgeous music and visuals. Like,
I would say this is my favorite level now. Like looking back on this list, I feel like this is the level that I got fired up the most about, like playing through again. Like every time I play it, it's just a magical experience, and I don't really feel that way about any other level in the game. I think when I made this, like I was super like very fixated on how much I loved like the forest world. I can't remember what number. I think like, I think I remember what 1 and 2 are. I don't think I like them as much as this, so that's really interesting how my preferences have changed that I gotten older. Well, not really changed because I did call this like this was my favorite growing up. So
like going through this level, you know, navigating more and more challenging platforming segments, blasting across greater and greater chasms, and reaching the point where you enter a full-blown blizzard and have to continue on through it. Downright badass. This is an example of visual design making a game better. Like, this is an example of just really firing you up to get through this and clear the level. It is fantastic. It is stellar. It is iconic. It is memorable. It's the halfway point of the game, and what a glorious halfway point it is. And to top it all off, the level itself is stellar. It is so much fun to go through these segments. It manages to distinguish itself a lot from Barrel Canyon Canyon. It's mostly about avoiding enemies in this one. Like, you're avoiding bees and trying to get your timing exactly right. Like, it's a good example of how Rareware, even then, and Nintendo, even then, were considering how to subvert and challenge your expectations when it came to these barrel cannon segments. So, already in the very same game, they were innovating and introducing new concepts to make barrel cannons cool and unique for years to come, and that is pretty special. Number 4, Gangplank Galleon. For the longest time, I seriously did not think I was going to add in any bosses. Like, I thought it was going to be a no boss rule. I thought that no bosses would even get on the list because I don't really enjoy most of the bosses in this game. But the more I thought about it, the more I played the game, the more I really began to look forward to that final encounter. Like, I would be extremely remiss not to point out just how great the final
Yeah, it is a good boss. Like I remember it being a good final boss, but like I said when I was playing it, like I know the game so well at this point that like the boss is like trivial. So like all of its intricacies, everything that makes it great are just completely lost on me now. Like I will never play this game fresh ever again.
Final encounter with this game is with King K. Rool. Rareware, I think, in the 90s and the 2000s sort of established themselves as making some of the best final bosses in Nintendo history. You know, K. Rool in this, in 2, in Gruntilda and Banjo-Kazooie, the Conquer final fight. Like, Rareware did so much, right, to really create these interesting, unique situations that have never really been done before or since. Like, you'll never find something like Banjo-Kazooie's final fight. You'll never see something quite like Donkey Kong 64's final fight. And you'll never really see something like this. A game where the boss collapses about 2/3 of the way through and pretends to be dead in order to get you to set down your controller in relief and die when he gets back up. That happened to me. I remember beating this for the first time, getting to the end, getting through
Did I tell that story? I think I did. Yeah. I think I did say that. Wow.
everything, getting to K. Rool, fighting him for the first time ever, and then failing, seeing those credits, being misled because I didn't understand what I was looking at. Like I thought there was something weird about the credits, but I didn't understand it. And then he got back up and got me. Like, and I was not able to beat him that day, or even I didn't even return to it for like a long time after that because I was so angry. But when I did return to it, when I finally did beat K. Rool, it was one of the best feelings in the world. It really, really was. And I think that's what makes this game. I think that's what makes this fight so great. This boss fight is challenging. It's radically different than everything you faced up.
It's always great when you remember where you were when you did certain things. Like I can remember exactly where I was and what I was doing when like I did that fight. Like I can remember that really clearly.
To this point, and when you do overcome it, like in spite of everything, you do not only do you end up loving the fight, you end up loving the game as a whole. Ending the game on a high note is never a bad thing. Number 3, Vulture Culture. Man, we're in the big boys now. I had no idea which order I should put these top 3 because I ended up loving all 3 of them for for two of them are very similar. Vulture Culture is one of them. Vulture Culture is one of those levels that takes everything you've been shown so far and does incredible things with it. Like, this is the first level in the forest world. This is the level that introduces you to the vulture enemy, right? There are a number of new enemies in this level. You have like the Neki Juniors. You have these there are these little birds that shoot nuts at you. You have the vultures themselves that are just sort of there, and you can attack these vultures out of cannons. You can fire yourself out of barrel cannons that are precariously placed, and you're supposed to hit the vultures and bounce yourself upward in order to reach a higher platform. Insane.
Like I don't know. I honestly feel like I would put Snow Barrel Blast way higher. Like I think it is better than the K. Rool fight. I think it is better than this. I think it might be better than the number 1 entry. Like to me, I think the best levels would be a toss up between Snow Barrel Blast and Minecart Carnage. Like I don't my forest type. I don't know. Like maybe I'll have to play the forest height levels again to get it. I don't know, but I really loved them back when I made this list. You can tell.
Positively insane. I cannot begin to tell you just how much fun I had playing through this over and over and over again. Like I remember like when I 100% the game a couple of weeks back, and I was trying to figure out this. Like this was one of those levels where I
Okay, yeah, so 100% completion. Okay, so I'm coming off of this with the impressions of someone who just 100% completed it. Okay. Yeah, it is different when you 100% a game. I did notice that when like I played Mario Advance 2 and like started collecting Dragon Coins, like you get a way different perspective when you play it that way. So that's probably how I'm gauging it. Yeah, that does make sense now that I think about it. Okay.
I think I had to replay it over and over and over again to 100% it, and I didn't
So this Harman Smith knows more about the game than I do, apparently.
mind because clearing those vultures, getting past them, dodging the obstacles, it never got old. It never got old. Number 2, Minecart Carnage. This is by far the most iconic and memorable level in the entire game. I believe, I'm surprised it's not number 1 personally, but it is incredible to me how there's only really one true minecart level in the entire Donkey Kong Country game. The trilogy, I should say. Of course, 3, Donkey Kong Country 3 is garbage in general. 2 has like the skull carts instead, and the second minecart level in Donkey Kong Country isn't nearly as good as this one. It has you jumping out of the cart rather than with the cart, which I think is a lot more fun. So the minecart level is an example of one of the all-time great gimmick levels. Like, you're in a vehicle, you're rolling along these tracks, and you're dealing with enemies and dodging obstacles. You can't control your speed, you can't control your momentum, you can't really do anything but jump. You have nothing but your reflexes, and it's incredible. Like, getting through DKC, getting through Minecart Carnage, getting through this, clearing the game, dodging these enemies, dodging these crashed minecarts on the track, like jumping over these gaps, like, it's thrilling. It's positively thrilling. It really is like a roller coaster ride. Now, I would say that like a lot of the newer games have surpassed this level, but in the context of like Donkey Kong Country itself, like, there's really nothing else like it. And as a result, like, I found myself like returning to this game over and over and over again. I remember playing this game as a kid and being excited whenever I got near the minecart level because it's what I wanted. It was what I was turning the game on for a lot of the time. It was something that I had trouble clearing for the first time. I remember like learning how to do this shortcut because I couldn't beat the level every time, and sometimes I wanted to proceed with the game. But when I did want to challenge the level, and when I did get through it, it was magical. Like, simply playing the level is a magical experience, and that feeling cannot be understated. Number 1, Forest Frenzy. This might be a bit of a controversial opinion because I've never heard anyone else really talk about how much
It's so controversial, even I'm questioning it, okay? Like, this is better than Snow Barrel Blast? Like, really? This is better than Minecart Carnage? Like, really? Like, I'm just kind of confused, like, by my own choice here, but...
much they love Forest Frenzy. To be fair, like, I don't think I've heard anyone talk about like individual levels in this fashion when it came to Donkey Kong Country in general. Like, most people speak in terms of like the general overall game, which is of course is spectacular. But going from individual worlds, right? Like, I narrowed down my favorite as being World 3, the forest one, in part because of the music, in part because of the memorable levels, in part because of the gorgeous design of like of these areas. But
yeah, the background art is really pretty.
Forest Frenzy, I think, is like peak Donkey Kong Country. Like, I truly believe that this is the level that sort of distinguishes itself upon the others. Like, essentially, this level is an expansion of the already great Vulture culture, which featured the vultures for the first time. This one incorporates a lot more rope swinging, it incorporates a lot more obstacles, and I think overall, in the end, it just improves on Vulture culture in every way. And as a result, since Vulture culture was already so good, Forest Frenzy is even better. So this is kind of how I feel that like these expanded levels, these
I think Snow Barrel Blast got robbed. Just like
sort of sequel levels like, should be structured. They should take concepts introduced in the earlier stage and then build off them. Like, the last stage, Vulture Culture, introduced the Vulture enemy, and at the end of Forest Frenzy, the level ends with you on a rope, dodging a seemingly endless wave of buzzards coming at you. And when you clear that level, you cannot believe that you managed to get through that entire wave. It's such an impressive moment. It kind of comes out of nowhere. It's when it's over, you end up just being blown away by it. Like, wow, I did that, or I died to that. I have to get past that. Like, it's such a memorable, iconic moment. And because of that, because of moments like that throughout the entire level, like how great it was throughout the entire game, right? Personally, this is it. This is my pick for the number one level in Donkey Kong Country. Hello, everyone. This is Cody Lee. Check out my books at blackcatbooks.org.
Yeah, that website that doesn't exist anymore. Ha! What a loser. Well, anyway, um, yeah, yeah. I don't know. I guess I want to retract that list. I don't think Vulture Culture and Forest Frenzy are as good as I made them out to be. I think Snow Barrel Blast got robbed. I that really should be like number one or two, I think, alongside Minecart Carnage. And like maybe Forest Frenzy and Vulture Culture should be three and four. I don't know. I don't know. I was really into those levels. I remember being into them, but like when I played them today, I was just kind of like blazing through it. I wasn't really thinking at all. I was like ranting about like Cobra Kai or something. I don't know what I was talking about. But like yeah. Oh, hang on, is the microphone on? I gotta check it every time I switch it. Yeah. Um yeah, like I don't know if I agree with my own list. It's really interesting how your opinions change as you get older. Like again, like I didn't do a 100% run, so that might be part of it of why I was like so sure. Like I'm honestly inclined to say that like I might have known what I was talking about more back then because that's the most I've ever played the game in my life. You know, like playing and replaying those levels over and over again, like ranking them accordingly. Like I did a lot of work to make that list. I remember doing it. So like uh there's definitely a reason behind it. I think like what happened was that like I was so good at Barrel Blast that like I was just kind of blazing through it, but like playing through Vulture Culture and Forest Frenzy so much got me to appreciate those stages more when I hadn't previously, even though that like Snow Barrel Blast is like such an iconic level. Like I do think that that one is the truly iconic Donkey Kong Country stage. So um I don't know what I was thinking. I mean I even said it was a controversial choice and I guess I was right. Like holy shit, like I'm watching my own video and shitting on my take. That's just great. That never happens. It's such a that's such a weird thing. I don't often like change my mind like that, but I mean it's certainly not a bad pick or anything. Like I love those levels. I love the entire game, but I don't know. Let's see here. Let's see. What else do we need to do? Is there anything else we should do today before I go to bed? I think I should. Uh, yeah, there's not really much more I want to do. Like I want to play Brothership, but I think it's gonna have to wait until like tomorrow. Because I am really, really tired, and I only stayed up as late as I did to stream this because I really, really wanted to like celebrate DKC for the 30th anniversary, which is today. So if you grew up with DKC, you're old now. Congratulations. But let's see here, Baldo. Hang on, I clicked on Baldo. When I say Baldo, I mean Mercado. I don't mean the actual Baldo product. Uh, Yeah, like it seems like Andy Worski is getting accused of like, I don't know, like having an orgy in a hotel or something. I don't know how that's gonna like how that's a W for Nick, but like it seems like he's does DKC hold up as good as Mario World? Um, I don't hmm. I would say no, but that's because I've recently discovered like Mario Advance 2 and like the achievement system in that and just really starting to like really get into that game again, like in a new exciting way. Um, I do think Mario World in a lot of ways is better. I do think it has a lot more versatility in its platforming and the power-ups are cool. Yoshi's iconic. Like I do think Mario World is a very special game to me. I would say it's better than DKC. Like objective, like Donkey Kong Country is maybe it's just a game I've been playing for so long. Like Mario World, I have not been playing nearly as long. So maybe that's why I'm more attached to it. But yeah, I think Mario World just has more things in it. I think the secret exits are exciting. It has like it's more mechanically complex. The enemies I think are more iconic. Like you have the Koopalings and stuff like that. Like yeah, Mario World is just fantastic. Like the special world, like yeah, both games are great, but yeah, I would say the Mario World is better, and especially Yoshi's Island because I think the main thing back in the day was Yoshi's Island versus DKC, and I do think Yoshi's Island is better than DKC as well. But um, I think the big takeaway from this though is that like the game is better. Donkey Kong Country is better than Sonic the Hedgehog for sure. Right? The mechanics are better, the character designs are better, the art's better, the movement's better, the level design's better, the music is better, right? Like the guy who composed Sonic the Hedgehog 3 like could not possibly have made tracks as catchy and memorable and as iconic as as Donkey Kong Country, right? Like, like who is this guy? Like Michael Jackson? Never heard of him. Complete nobody. Right up there with that guy who did the Live or Let Die song in uh in the James Bond movie. Like complete nobody. So so yeah, like Donkey Kong Country is just better than Sonic in every single way imaginable. It's really not even close, right? And I don't know. Like everybody, like people do this a lot when it comes to Nintendo games. They want to like compare Nintendo games to each other, and they want to like make these stupid little rivalries, but they don't want to like talk about how Nintendo games are better than the competition. So they'll do this thing where they'll pretend like Paper Mario is better than Mario and Luigi, like, and while ignoring the fact that like both of them are better than like uh their other contemporaries, right? Like. Meanwhile, like Sega fans are trying to gaslight you into thinking that, like, well, Sonic Chronicles: The Dark Brotherhood is actually pretty good. It respects the continuity of the Archie comics. Like, nobody cares. Like, it's nobody cares about that. It's a complete and total nothing burger. I don't know, man. Sonic the Hedgehog is just a complete joke of an IP, and I'm so tired of seeing people talk about it. Like, oh well, Infinite is like Shadow Generations was good. Like, just unbelievable. Like an absolute joke of an IP that could not compete with Mario, even in its absolute peak. Like Sonic in his prime just got stomped by Mario, and then stomped by DK, and now stomped by fucking Kirby. It's like how many Nintendo mascots is gonna take until Sonic the Hedgehog is completely dead and buried? Like it's just it's just unbelievable. Like Sonic would be like a D-list Nintendo character if he was like part of the regular lineup. Sonic is the best platformer from any competition. I don't know if I would agree with that. I think there are better alternatives. Um
like third party, like I mean, I would say DK. Well, hmm, I mean, like what's gonna compete with Mario really? Like I don't think anything's really even gotten any close. The best platformer. Hmm. Yeah, I guess not. I don't think so. I guess Sonic is the closest anyone's ever gotten. 'Cause like yeah, like Crash Bandicoot is worse, like Astrobot is worse, like the little Big Planet thing is completely dead and buried. Sackboy, like who even remembers Sackboy in like 2024? Like complete and total nobody. He was the Astrobot of 2008. Yeah, Knack. Yeah, the Astrobot of 2013. Like, oh, it outsold 3D World. Like, yeah, sure, buddy. Like, I wish I could find that like GIF I saw back in the day of like some guy like it's like Knack like hitting Mario in the nuts and then like doing this weird dance over it like oh it's coming to PlayStation because the Wii U failed so badly. Like it was such like an insane cope even then. I really wish like I could have said it's like so it was like some weird file that you couldn't post anywhere else. So I could probably find it again if I actually have found it again. Like, but I just can't post it on any of my social media. I'll have to like get a hold of it and then convert it to a video file and then post it on the channel probably. I guess I could do that now, but that was just embarrassing. Yeah, it was bad. And honestly, like Astrobot is like it's like a repeat of that. It's like Sony remastering what they did with that. It just it's legit The Last of Us Part 2 remastered tier. Just ridiculous what they tried to do with that. It's awful. Um, hmm. Yeah, like it feels like at this point in time we're just waiting for the next Nintendo console to come out. I don't think I'm gonna buy anything on the Switch next month. If I have a little extra cash, I might get East 10 or something, but I haven't even finished the demo yet, so I'm way behind. Like there's all this stuff that's coming out. I'm looking forward to like next year is gonna be great with like Prime 4 and stuff like that, but like I don't know. I'm really interested in seeing just what Nintendo comes out with next. I do think we are gonna get like hardware news like reasonably soon. At the very least, we're gonna get like an announcement for the direct date, and they're gonna tell us ahead of time. It is gonna be new hardware. Game journals will not be able to do what they did with the Wii U and pretend it was an add-on or that Nintendo wasn't clear about what the technology was. Like, um, and they're gonna show a bunch of games, and journalists are not gonna be able to like gaslight people about like what the games actually are. You know, like remember when Nintendo Land, like it's just a mini game collection. It has nothing of value to offer at all. Like remember New Super Mario Bros. U, like oh it's just the same game again. Like remember Zombie U, like oh it's just a zombie game. Oh like remember them like crying about like Arkham City being ported over after like complaining about how it didn't come to Wii. Like remember that? Like it was just the worst thing ever. Like it was such a disaster on the game journal's part, like how they treated the Wii U, and I'm glad to see that like they're becoming irrelevant and nobody cares about them. Like they tried going after Mario and Luigi Brothership and they've just failed. Like it just completely fell apart. And they had like a lot of active people in the yeah, Nintendo Land was criminally downplayed. I know, right? There were people saying it was like one of the worst Nintendo announcements of all time. But yeah, um, what was I getting at? Yeah, there were like lots of high profile people like trying to denounce like Mario and Luigi Brothership, like when it came out, and now we're at this point. We're in the early stages of people realizing this is actually one of the best games of the year and probably the best Mario RPG ever made. Like, we're gonna see this really weird transition between like people acting as if this game is like some huge disaster and disappointment. Like, oh, it doesn't run very well. Oh, it has tutorials. Oh, like none of which is true, by the way. Like you're gonna see a lot of people get wrecked. in the coming weeks. Like it's gonna be really interesting seeing like people get like more becoming more open about how great the game actually is. Because I think this is the thing. Like this happened with Tears of the Kingdom as well. Like you're talking about this massive RPG that's like tens of hours long, right? You know, it's gonna get you do 40 hours to get through the story. Um, 40-hour game, right? Massive deal. Like you're not gonna get through that in a weekend, right? You're not gonna get through that unless you're like no lifing it. So like the people who are coming out day one trying to tell you that like Luigi has pronouns or that like they the older games were better or that like the game was disappointing, like they were all full of shit, like right off the bat. And I do think like this is going to be an example of just how out of touch these people actually are. They're not playing the games, they don't know anything about it, but they don't know anything about them, and yet they're still coming out and making these wild statements about these games. You know, I love going on message boards and complaining about games I've never played. That's these people right now, right? And it does need to be understood that these people are just being wildly disrespectful to all of these developers and Nintendo as a whole. I'm very tired of seeing every major Nintendo release get downplayed, right? It happened with Princess Peach Showtime, it happened to Echoes of Wisdom, it happened to Brothership, right? You know, all three of those games are spectacular, and yet everybody just comes after them all the time. But anyway, yeah, I can't keep my eyes open. I gotta get to bed. So I am going to end the stream here, and I will be back tonight with some more Mario and Luigi. So thank you all for tuning in and celebrating DKC's legacy with me, and